Beautiful people, how are you, dear viewers and listeners? Not So Complicated is back with a bang. Yes, on Wakaguno we do site visits, we talk about your innovation, we find you wherever you are and we talk about your innovation. Today, I have a glass that has inspiration because the topic today is about a floating bar, floating island. We are on the waters of Lake Victoria. Yes, we are floating. Oh yes, welcome back on the show, Not So Complicated. And before we get to the topic, remember to follow us on all our social media handles at Innovation Consortium everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere at Innovation Consortium. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That red button, please click it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Comment. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what you think, what you want us to talk about the show. Yes, today, floating island, floating bar. Here we are. And allow me to introduce my panel. Hi.
Hi.
Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Is this yours or is for the gentleman?
It's for the
I
gentleman.
need to find out. Yeah. What's your name?
Daphne.
Daphne.
Nawera, yes.
Nawera.
Yes.
Okay. Who is Daphne?
I am a travel consultant.
Yes.
I am the CEO of Okwezi Travel Company.
Okay.
And I'm also the Sunset Traveler on all my social media handles.
Sunset Traveler.
Yes.
Sunset Traveler.
Yes.
So you're now floating
I'm now floating.
on the floating bar. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Yes, and our main guest today. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. What is your name?
I'm James Kateba.
James Kateba.
I'm the guy behind the floating boat, the boat built out of plastic bottles here in Luzira.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Glad to have you on Not So Complicated.
my pleasure.
Oh, nice. And the usual suspect, a one Bobon. How are you, man?
I'm alive.
A bottle with inspiration. Yeah, you're floating on the floating bar. Glad to have you on the show.
Thanks.
Yes, and the not so serious man. How are you?
I'm very serious.
Never serious.
We are floating. We are floating. Man. We are floating.
You always have a glass with inspiration. Today you have a
Today is
bottle
bottle.
with inspiration.
Especially is not kicking in.
You're picking the vibe.
Yeah.
Glad to have you on the show. Yes, and that's my panel, dear viewers and listeners. Now, the topic is the floating island. You could have heard of the floating island. Yes, people have thought about how it could look like, what it means, what is the feeling when you're on the floating island, more so when you have a glass with inspiration. In a minute, you're going to get to know. Yes, and now let's talk about the floating island. Let's talk to the CEO of the floating island.
The innovator
The
behind.
innovator. Mr. James, tell us about James. Also, Medawa, where do you hail from? Ye Bakuzalva Muguru. Are you married?
James is someone from Rukunjiri,
Yes.
Uganda.
Oh,
Yeah, James has been in the tourism industry for a couple of years now.
okay.
He used to do safaris, and probably that's where he picked the inspiration to design something.
So you had Daphne before the 2 years.
Yes. I'm
Probably
older.
I'm a smaller. Huh?
James is he's an old school tour operator from way back, but along the way things change and we need to do some other things.
Sure.
Work on some things in the background.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rukunjiri, those are Westerners.
They are called Southerners.
Southern Westerners.
Westerners are Americans.
Yes,
So-
now.
Southerners.
Bulijjo mugamba bava mu West baba na Bwongo. Ku luno bweseze. Tuli ku floating island. Omunyankole oba omukiga yakoze floating island. For this time round, it won't be about the money. It's about the knowledge and the innovation. Yes, and let's talk about the floating island.
What
Tell
is
us,
a floating
tell us,
island?
what is a floating island?
Floating island is a boat built out of flotation, which is recycled plastic bottles that we find on Lake Victoria. So the reason for building the floating island was to have a little footprint on what we can do to save part of our lake
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time create habitat for fish and plant life and wildlife that we share with things on the lake, creatures on the lake. Yeah,
Oh yes.
yeah.
Okay, and how did the idea come about? How do you sit and say, I want to dedicate all my time to building an island?
How are we floating?
We are on a cushion of air because the plastic bottles.
How many plastic bottles?
We are looking at a minimum of 10 tons of plastic bottles. We keep
10 tons?
Yes, please.
That is
It's
a
almost-
ton.
A ton is 1,000 kilos.
1,000
kgs, yeah.
Yeah, that is
kgs.
1,000 kilos of air we use to weigh all this, and we strapped them and designed this boat.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. So let's go about the
That's not
idea.
plastic.
How do you choose to say, I want to build an island?
Well, there we always have dreams. Everyone of the human race has a dream. Sometimes you follow through with your dream. Along the way, some people decide not to pursue their dreams. But I thought of designing something out of not to say out of the ordinary, but I had some guidance from a community that I read about in northern Uganda. Let's not call it northern Uganda, like central in Nakasongola, around Lake Kyoga. We had in the 1950s we had a community that does fishing. They build rafts out of bamboo and papyrus, and they go fishing for months. Just on Lake
Floating on
Kyoga.
bamboo.
Yeah, floating on bamboo. They go fishing. They catch their fish, and once the raft is done, they just abandon that and then build another one
Another one.
on the next fishing
Oh yes,
season.
oh yes.
So the fact that we had, we still have a problem of plastics, and that was, I thought that was another way of designing something. I've seen people use plastic to build houses.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
sure.
to build
sure.
houses, to build so many things out of plastics. So I thought, if we could float this plastic, we could create something, some space that you and me could come and
Wow.
sit and
Wow.
just.
Wow,
Enjoy.
there is a
20 tons.
there's a river in Mbara called River Rizi
Yeah.
that was actually captured on the news,
Mhm.
filled with it was actually yaliye sana
Choking
over the
on-
years, choking
choking on
over
plastic,
the plastic.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
so if we could have oil from the west, we can have more people, more Westerners
yeah.
think about the same, because now if you have over 10 tons,
Yeah.
Why don't we just float this to Mara?
There's
too big for a river.
there's probably no connection between here and Lake Victoria.
Yes,
And,
yes.
into there, yeah.
Okay, and the floating island.
So me, I'm still perplexed about. Tell me about the construction of this. What is down there? What are we
Oh.
floating on?
It's plastic bottles, empty.
20
with-
tons of those.
Yeah, we had the initial one was 10 tons. We keep,
Adding on.
building with whatever comes to us.
Mm.
We strap them in fish nets. Then we have a frame on top, and then we find vegetation that we find along the banks of the lake, and that's what we try to duplicate. Just say like we're trying to recreate what we find along the banks, like another wetland of some sort.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You use what is on the water.
Yeah, we try to get whatever we find or by the side of the lake.
So you're not only recycling plastic, but even vegetation. Huh?
Yeah, because you need to make it as environmentally friendly as you can.
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
yes.
And when did you choose to begin on this idea?
We started May 2017.
Oh, you're going 5
yeah,
years,
we're coming to
6 years?
6 years now.
6 years.
May 2017. By the end of the year, we had the first section of this boat floating on the lake.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I would like to know why should people choose to come onto the floating island? Why do I leave home and I choose to say, let me go and float?
Firstly, it's so close to Kampala. They, you like after work, most people that live around Kampala, you find like getting to the water bodies, like to Lake Victoria. I think this would be the closest, yeah, to most people living around
Luzira.
around Kampala, Luzira. Secondly, the kind of ambience that you have, that we
Tell
created.
us about the services on here.
Services, I would not.
Besides this one.
No, services. Yeah, we provide a cup of, drinks. We also do like food from the lake. People want to come and buy tilapia,
You do boat rides?
catfish. We do boat rides. We do at times camping. Someone wants to camp out. You don't need to go
Camping
so far.
on the lake.
Camping on the same vessel that we built. Yeah, you can camp here. You can take boat rides. You could probably organize with the fishermen, and go out, try a hand at fishing with them, and then you just have a good time here. You do bonfires. Yeah.
So what's like a moving force for this? For example, if we are to live with the island, does it use an engine?
Yes. Sometimes we use a motorized boat to drag us, when we don't have waves on the lake. But sometimes we just let it go with nature. With the wind just blows it to a direction.
Follows the current.
Yeah.
And then how does it come back? If you want to come.
It's tethered to the mainland with a cord that you saw, and we have a winch, so we winch ourselves back.
Oh, it's like an anchor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a ferry.
It's an
We would
anchor.
call it like a living ferry.
Yes.
We move with all our plants, our vegetation, our sitting places, and
And
Does the kitchen work on water?
yes, it does. Everything is on top, above the waterline.
Okay.
so self-contained.
Yes. Now, there is a when you're expecting a baby and your wife is pregnant.
Hmm.
There comes a day when a baby is born,
Scaring.
and you're very, very, very excited and happy.
Okay.
The day you told your friends that you wanted to develop a floating island, it was like a dream. I want you to give us that feeling of when you actually
It floated.
it floated and you're like it's floating and people could
How
come
long
and sit
did
here.
it take for this to become reality?
Reality.
And the feeling,
also,
yes, I need to get that
Yeah,
feeling.
we started around like May, like I told you earlier, May 2017. By Christmas Day, we had the first section, floating on water. The first time, I and my friends, when we did the first bit, actually we tried to design something that weighed about like 700 kilos, and we couldn't flip it onto the lake.
Oh.
So we had to, first take it into
bits,
into
yes,
half,
yes.
and then I had to call a couple of fishermen, and we had to drop in the first bit.
Yes, yes.
And we decided, I was like, I'm going to be the first person to test and see whether the thing won't.
By yourself.
Yeah,
Whether
I
you
and a
won't
few,
drown.
I had a few friends.
Yeah.
There was Blaze. Blaze is one of our colleagues. Blaze and Moses.
I know Blaze.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
We are the first guys that jumped on the thing, and guys were just jumping. Hey, we are
Excited.
floating, very excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is to me,
Mm-hmm.
we are the Innovation Consortium,
Mm-hmm.
and I told you we have a medal of excellence.
Lovely.
Now I would like to know, because this is one of the greatest innovations that I've seen.
It's a great
And
local
yes,
innovation.
so I would like to know: have you had recognitions? Have you been nominated? Have people actually gotten to know that we have a floating island in Uganda?
We haven't gotten up to there. We're still doing this entire time. We were giving ourselves checks to see how safe it's going to be. We didn't want to open it out until we knew that it was safe enough for the public.
yeah, sure,
and
sure.
just like any normal boat, like when we're floating, we always request, like everyone has a life jacket on board and a life jacket on, and over the 5 years or so, we have tested this vessel and moved it like several kilometers out of here, even in the toughest conditions on the lake. We have tested it on
It
the
has
waters.
survived too.
Yeah.
So
Did you survive? Do you remember COVID times? There was
No,
a rise in the water level.
Yeah, there was a water
Actually,
rise.
during the flooding of Lake Victoria, we believe we're the only ones who stayed above the water line when the lake rose to almost 3 meters from its.
so the more
the more the water went up, the higher
more
the,
you went up.
Yeah, we
higher
went up.
the-
At one point, we were above the roof levels of many of the houses.
Oh really?
Yes.
With your floating island,
Yeah.
chilling.
Yeah.
While
So
people
it
were
was
suffering.
like Noah's Ark in the Bible.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is actually like Noah's Ark.
I
Yeah.
have a question to ask. You
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
what people tend to talk about their innovations, they tend to hide the struggles. Where like
struggles.
they're almost losing hope.
Uh-huh.
Tell us
Where they-
about
where
between
they-
May and December.
Where they have to go in the room, encourage yourself.
And pray.
Just not to pray, but like you just say, "I will do it." Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
make
yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
Self-motivation.
you inspire yourself, and then you come back and ask for your story.
Yeah, of course, there are always challenges. You realize, as we're setting up the thing, there are things that will not work. Along the way, you get to realize, I think I have so much in this area, like so much weight. I need to counterbalance that with additional buoyancy of bottles, and then take down some of the soil that we used to have initially. Yeah, so some of the things you learn as you go on the
Okay.
job. Yeah.
Okay, in the same regard, a few challenges you've faced in the entire process, say from when you began the idea, how do you secure the land? Tell us, there must be those challenges that probably...
Well, I would not call them challenges because everyone has their challenges.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, those are steps that you
Call
go
them
through.
life.
Every human being go through challenges here and there. Once we dwell on the challenges, we never do much,
Sure.
in life. Yeah, so let them be there. Just go through them. It's just another day.
Can I ask you a
Yeah,
question?
yeah, sure.
You see, once in a while I design machines,
Mm-hmm.
but after when the machine works, there's that secret you have,
Mm-hmm.
which you learn on job and say this one. If someone doesn't know, you can't
But
do
you
it.
also don't pick it up.
Maybe-
I asking him
Maybe
to
you can share it also.
No, I think where we are now, we just need to open up.
Exactly.
We open up and
should
you
give
know,
her information
let
for
let
free.
someone come and do this thing better than me. That's what I would encourage someone.
So which is
If
that
you have
art you
if you
feel.
have a trade secret that you can share with somebody, just know that one day you're going to be on the back bench and someone is going to be heading something.
I
So
think
you
it's
need
important because it creates a collective development.
you
You're
need
all
yeah
doing something, and instead of keeping your knowledge to yourself,
Yeah,
if you shared it with someone, especially someone younger,
Mm.
they would maybe
they probably make it better than you. Yeah.
than
And
you.
we need the best.
And we need
the best. We don't need
So you don't
average,
think
That's
you
why
don't
James
only
I'm
think
asking.
about yourself.
That's why I'm asking for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because I know there's something you found out and you're doing your project.
No,
And
you
you say,
learn.
"I've
You
learned
could you
this
could
one."
also learn, but you can consult me should you encounter some things, and then we share.
So they can consult.
Yeah, I
I
can.
was told Coca-Cola did not patent
because
the
that
formula
would
because
they require them to
explain and
to
expose the
explain
formula.
the formulas.
So they
Up to
chose
now.
not to patent, and that's a secret
Then there
recipe.
is something you said. You said at
But
the
you see,
beginning.
that's fruit.
You have said your floating iron has trees.
Yeah.
What you have done, you have got
These
bottles.
trees are also floating with us by
You
now.
have got bottles,
Mm-hmm.
and you've created an ecosystem whereby what you're putting on top of the water,
Mm-hmm.
the habitants of the water
Mm-hmm.
are also having an advantage.
Exactly.
So can you explain that one better?
So on the plastics you have like a layer of material of soil, and even some of these plants, as they get to the end of their life, they create other ecosystems.
Are these intentional or you planted them?
Yes, we planted them. We planted them. Some of them just grow by they self-propagate. Yeah, like the first life that was here. And then it's the same vegetation that holds the entire vessel together. Yeah. And then as you're waiting for that, you've seen the lizards and all that.
It's too
We-
much
we-
life. It's
yeah,
like
we-
your own ecosystem.
Yeah, unless if it's very, very necessary that we have to, just pick out some that are not friendly.
So are you trying to say?
Deliver a few
Are you
evictions.
trying to say if you build these things well, you create a better breeding?
Yeah,
space for-
yeah,
for-
like
for habitats?
we got to realize that we've created some habitat for the fish, like breeding areas under the vessel. Yeah, we get so many fishermen coming to put their cast their
around here.
nets
Oh.
around,
So you
and
fish pond indirectly.
yeah, well, we create space, yeah, and just like swamps, clean up the lake. That's the same thing because you have biofiltration from the roots of these plants into the lake. Yeah, you end up having life even under the entire structure.
Sure.
We have catfish under here. We have langfish. We have tilapia. Yeah, fishermen come and pick, and they
No sharks.
and
Yeah.
they still sell to us. They sell to us the same fish, and it's okay. Everyone wins. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Viewers and listeners, in case you're wondering, we are floating. The beer is cold on the floating island. And you may not believe it. Please, make it a date. Come to Port Bell. Look for Samaki Beach. And you're going to find yourself at the floating island. Oh, yes. There is a kitchen. We're about to have our fish. We are really gladly waiting on it. And echibero. You never tasted echibero? Come here. You're just going to enjoy it. Fika togo fish and all that. That's all fun on the floating island. Oh, yes. The breeze is so cool. We are all enjoying to our bed. Now, you need to tell me about, there's a story you told me about the COVID season.
Yeah. Okay. It so happened
Evidence that we are floating.
It so happened that during the lockdown and the time of the flooding, we had so much water, and then we had some abundance of fish. We used to fish around this floating island, but we would have so much fish that we would encourage people to come and share with whatever we had, because it was tough times for the entire area. Would call some of our friends, and then some people in the community used to actually fish from our flooded area of the lake.
Sure.
Yeah, so we'd encourage them to come and just share whatever little that was
Wow.
available.
So you
Yeah.
became charity.
No, we just taking care of each other. That was it. We didn't have a choice.
CSR,
Yeah, we didn't have much of a choice. Everyone was needed to
To survive.
get better. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, as in, I've got a chance to to work on some machines which shred plastics into small particles
Mhm.
in Kitezi,
Mhm.
and then they're exported.
Mhm.
And then I think some time back, Coca-Cola reached out. They wanted a machine to press plastics, because during their shipping, the volumes are huge,
Mhm.
so they need a pressing. But then all these look like they expose your plastics is unaware.
Mhm.
Basically, I felt like what they are claiming recycle is almost the more damaging, because if you go to Kitezi and you see what is your
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, in your own view, now if you have used plastics to create an ecosystem and there is fish, so do you think if it became a project whereby some people would turn a bigger number of plastics to copy the similar concept,
Similar ecosystem.
will they contribute more to the environment than those who are shredding and exporting them back to China?
I think what is happening, you have so much plastic. This is one of the ways that you could make plastic useful, as long as you are not exposing it to the elements. They are tucked away, and while they are underwater, they don't cause damage to the environment, like when they are exposed to the radiation of the sun. Yeah, that's just another way of dealing with the problem that we have already.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So can someone just collect plastics and bring them to you?
Yeah, they could collect, but mostly I collect from what is already damaging the lake. Most times,
Oh, you pick the plastics
The
from
plastics
this
from-
particular lake.
you know what is happening. So many like runoff water from the towns,
Yeah, sure.
from the channels,
Yeah,
it
sure.
ends up in Lake Victoria.
Yes.
So that we're trying to deal with what is here first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what you're basically saying,
Yeah.
you're cleaning.
You're cleaning.
Yeah, we're just
Like-
cleaning and just
and
getting
then
them
these
together.
are-
In future, if there is a need to get this destroyed, and just lift it out and just destroy
In
it.
one
and-
place you
Yeah,
destroy
destroy it, and that's it.
We just hope there won't be need to destroy it.
No, it will stay.
This all the West to be
This one,
place.
this one has a lifespan of not less than 400 years.
Yeah, sure.
When it still has its buoyancy and it's still grown into
Not less
ris-
than 400 years.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're suggesting,
Mhm.
you're collecting plastics, using it as a floating island. If a day ever comes, someone gets a best of disposing plastics.
Mhm.
At least they're in one
They're
place.
in one
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
You collect.
It's just
And they're
like
serving
go
a
and-
good purpose.
yeah, they are serving a good purpose. Should there be changes, in future, we never know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
we never know. There will be changes on the way we deal with our environment.
But you have given it a guarantee of
Yeah.
400 years.
Absolutely.
So are there plans to work on the wastage around the boat?
The pollution doesn't come from the boat directly because we treat our own, sanitation systems. We have our own septic tank on the vessel.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Don't power in the lake.
No, we don't
Oh.
discharge directly in the lake. What you see comes from the other sides. You see that algae.
Mm.
Yeah, we believe it's not treated so properly, but that is a bigger, concern for people that are
Sure.
involved in that
Sector.
sector. Yes.
Mm.
Well, I think, have you tried to maybe engage the government about it? Or some development agency?
This
No,
is-
because it's actually,
Yeah.
no, even for him,
My question would be which
from a
government?
tourism point
No,
of
it's
view.
okay. It's okay. But they need to
Could
find
cause-
something. They need to find the government
Yeah,
needs to
sure.
find something that's already on
Yeah.
the ground, and then you can.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Have you tried to engage? Because you see, when you engage individually, like how you took it as an initiative to collect the bottles and do something good for this lake. If you can engage individually and maybe get more innovators and see how can we do this, you understand? And if you could create maybe something, even if it was on a low scale, that is at least doing something, even if it was contributing 10%
Yeah.
to the sewage situation on the other side, maybe some people could come
Okay.
in. They
Yeah, but we also believe
let's go to court or
most people that are polluting, they probably are the people that are low income, low income communities.
Those that are polluting.
Yeah.
And
Because,
those are manageable, because
yeah.
if they were high income,
Yeah.
then we would worry about case.
Sitting with Chiberi.
I smell fish.
No.
I smell fish.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You are saying?
Yeah,
This
I was
is served
saying,
on a floating
the
island.
people that pollute are probably they don't have the means to clean up. But with I think guidance from the local leadership, they can be sensitized.
Exactly.
Yeah, they
So
can
that's
be
why
sensitized.
that's why I said, because if there are actually people that are low income earners,
Yeah.
that is more manageable than if you were dealing with very big companies that have money, power, and lawyers, and you cannot do anything about it.
Sure.
But if they're low income earners, I think they could be managed
Yeah.
through leadership
Yeah.
and proper guidance.
Yeah.
And maybe if you could take it up, if you could
Yeah, it's sensitization.
yes, like once in a
really,
while,
but
you could start
there's
a
always,
conversation.
I'm not
there's always a
objecting.
first
The only
step.
thing I'm wondering,
Yes.
I'll be honest,
Yes.
the reason why I wanted James, you see, and this James,
Pull this here.
James must have struggled more. First of all, in your own pocket,
Yeah, absolutely.
in your own brain,
Never seen fish like this.
Fish eye.
you get.
Ah,
So,
What is a pro of fish?
anyway, I believe
fish.
I believe in a system whereby, okay, with the system we are in, like the way we have come to you, because we came here to drink on Friday. We are all of us. We
I
are
came to
moved.
drink. Came to talk to James.
We came to drink. No, the way we came to this, we came to drink,
sure.
and we are moved.
Yeah.
So we had asked James, would you want to talk about your thing? So what I'm coming to is like our system, I just tell you whereby gwe nasooka n'okola ekintu kyo bwe tujja
Yes, because now if
No,
that's
but
the
you know,
system,
you-
what do we do?
No, but you need to
You know?
you need to build each other. You know.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
you don't think about me. No.
Yes.
Even when I get partnerships, I don't mind. Just opening it up, and we have a bigger impact.
Yes, dear viewers and listeners. Yeah, omugenyi omukulu atuuse. Now, you know,
bayinza babawadde butwa bumali
sometimes we talk about things and you think we're just marketing people, but look at the fish, look at the chibero, fish kagogo, all that chicken
This
on the
Chibero is
floating
going to kill
island. If you
somebody.
can zoom in for them. Yes, and we are not so complicated. We're going to enjoy this fish in a non-complicated way for your case. And I'm closing it down, cutting it short. David, floating island.
Okay, for
Amaso
those of
gajje
you,
ku kyennyanja.
yes, for those of you that are not in Uganda, the facts guy is not here.
Jukes.
Today I'll
1987.
Yes. So, funny fact.
Eh,
We are floating on the second biggest freshwater body in the whole world, which is Lake Victoria, but in Uganda we call it Lake Nalwale. Apparently someone discovered something we had been seeing all along. But politics is for another day. We are floating on Lake Victoria in Uganda.
yes, and you're going to
Come
eat
by
fish.
anytime and come enjoy the floating island. There's boat cruise, there's fish, there's
Fish is getting
ambience,
cold.
there's nature, there's recycling. Over to you before fish gets cold.
Baba, is your beer still
I
full?
have become the show host to say over to me.
Please, yes, you
Fish,
can
fish,
proceed.
I really like, I'll be first of all, I'll be thankful to James. Because to be honest, in our system, in our country we are in, this is more of his sweat. I hope I'm right there.
And you
Please.
recognize the sweat.
I recognize your sweat.
Thank you so much.
Because you're,
Thank you.
so I'm so glad. What I have really loved that there's a better of disposing plastics. So now I'm imagining if we get the bottles intentionally and we create breeding areas for fish. Because there's too many plastics, we just throw them to what we get more fish. If we submit them down the water.
Well, probably that would not be the smartest idea. Because you don't want to add a problem to a problem. You need to be a problem solver.
Now you, yeah.
Than a
You're polluting
problem
intentionally.
creator,
Nice,
Yeah.
Okay, yes, and over to James. Tell us where you found as we close it up.
Okay. We are in Port Bell, Luzira, just past Miami Beach, like about 200 meters. We are just just beyond a lounge called Samaki, and Coco Beach were our neighbors. And this is where we always are. We also are adjacent to Butabika on one side, and then on the other side, part of Senene, which is also another island away from this other side. So that's where we can be found.
Okay.
Are you on Google Maps?
We are on Google Maps as Floating Island Uganda. We are on Facebook. We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram. We can be accessed through those handles.
Okay. Thanks for hosting us.
You're most welcome.
Yes, over to you,
Pleasure.
Daphne. Oli kusupo.
Nyomo ndeko bunozuwonyite. This is the best bell I've ever tasted.
Oh, really? Nice. I can see you enjoying yourself.
It's so good.
Oh, nice.
Especially it has these things. They're my best.
Okay.
This was an amazing experience actually.
Thank you.
When he told me about the floating island, I've been in tourism for about 6 years now.
Okay.
But then I was more attached to Mbara.
Yeah.
But now that I'm actually involved into selling the entire Uganda, I'm glad for an opportunity like this.
Pleasure.
And this is lovely. That's why my concerns, for me, when I came here with concerns, it was more of, if I bring here people, how is it going to look like? Because now, of course, when you bring people, the feedback comes to you.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely.
I love the innovation. It's quite amazing. Being a conservationist, I really appreciate your efforts in cleaning out this place.
All right.
All right, guys. Bon appetit.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have prayed for the food, but it's good to go. Dear viewers and listeners, it was a pleasure having you. The Floating Island. We're enjoying ourselves. Please make a date. Come through. Float while you eat fish like never before. Remember to follow us on our social media handles at Innovation Consortium. At Not So Complicated. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click that red button. Follow us. Give us that viewership. And enjoy the show. Brian Lion, your host. I'm off to enjoying my chibero on the floating island. Peace. I sign out.
I'm sending my greetings to all Ugandans who are today watching me. I am called Obura Francis Owili, but my stage name as a musician, I'm called Lucky Kebrix Obura, the preacher of world peace. Do you know why? It's because most of my songs is talking about peace, but not war.
Not the banging, you know. Okay, I think it makes sense. I heard that.
The man might undress.